Welcome to Cinemaholics. I'm Jon Negroni, and we have a special episode today. I'm so excited because I'm actually joined today by two incredibly talented and, dare I say, in my opinion at least, hilarious filmmakers and actors who are actually fresh off of a whole year of shipping out and celebrating their new film, this new indie film called Extremely Unique Dynamics. So I want to say hey to them right now. Of course, Harrison Xu and Ivan Leung. Welcome, guys, to Cinemaholics for the first time. Thank you for saying yes to this.
Thank you for welcoming us.
Thank you for having us.
We're in for it today because obviously we're going to talk about your movie a bit, but I have a lot of questions for you guys. Some serious stuff, all business, nothing fun. I think the listeners are used to that for sure. But first, we got to start off. I mean, your movie, Extremely Unique Dynamic. You spent the last several months because we talked earlier. I think it was like last summer, right? It was like June-ish. We were talking after the movie hit Frameline in San Francisco. First off, how's that been going? But then also, I do also want to explain to listeners what this movie is. They can be like, Extremely Unique Dynamic. I extremely need to go to the theater.
Extremely Unique Dynamic is a queer Asian meta stoner coming of age romantic. Well, actually, no, sorry. That was wishful thinking. Romantic dramedy about two guys making a movie about two guys making a movie about two guys making a movie.
Yeah, and the movie's been going. I mean, since we last talked, we've played at, I think last year we were at 25 different film festivals.
You've been busy.
We've been very busy, traveling a lot, and we finally had our LA theatrical premiere last weekend, which was really successful, actually. We were Strand's highest per theater average opener ever, and we're the Lemley NoHo's highest grossing film in a weekend ever, over Black Panther and Avengers Endgame, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's actually, I'm gonna have to fact check you there because I'm just kidding.
No, please do. Please fact. No one believes us, but I like pull out the numbers. They're like, wow, wait, how'd you guys do that? So
That's so impressive.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Impressive. I do want to tell the listeners too, because the three of us, weirdly enough, we met before the movie came out, like super randomly by happenstance, which is another reason why I'm just excited to have you guys on Cinemaholics, because I do know you even outside of your movie. And of course, I want to make sure the listeners know that, and that's all disclosed. But basically, the way we met was almost exactly a year ago. We were like, our friend group in LA just kind of weirdly overlapped. I don't even live in LA, but basically my wife and I went to an Millennium concert. We have a couple of friends in Culver City that are friends of you. And so we all hung out in a Millennium concert. And my first memory of you two specifically is on a party bus. Ivan literally on a using the railing for a party bus as a stripper pole, I think they're called.
It's a stripper pole. I don't have like professional experience with the poles, but like I'm always willing to learn. You can call me an amateur.
Ivan was very acrobatic in a way that I hadn't seen him before. Very inspiring and very freeing.
Harrison, I tell you I run and then you start laughing in my face.
But you on the pole though, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I remember somebody mentioned, they were like, those two guys make movies. And I was like, I believe that.
I actually remember a very vivid memory. I don't know if you remember this, but Ivan was like, play our song, because we had just recorded our song. And on this party bus, the songs before it were like, you know, your classic party songs. I don't know. I think there was some like hip hop in there, some more Millennium. And then we played our song, which is a pop punk song. And Ivan and I were jamming, and someone was like, turn that off.
Okay.
I think that was me. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. No, okay. Let me like defend myself just a little bit. So, I think the song that we got was in mono. So there was just no hype. There's no hype at all. So no one was just feeling it.
Okay, wait, was this taco loving Asian guy? And we have to say the name so people can look it up.
It was actually interesting enough. It's the DIY early 2000s, like MySpace kind of type of song. Taco loving Asian guy, I mean, no one can say like, oh, this song sucks. Everyone loves it.
It's a crowd pleaser, no joke. But okay, so interesting enough, I'm glad you brought that one up because that's also on Spotify, right? And you have the music video that you put out a couple months ago.
Yeah, I got to slap. It was nice. Like, I got to slap Harrison's ass. We got to play baseball. Apparently, I held a baseball wrong. Like, I held it like a broom. Because I am not that type of athletic guy. I'm more of a walker.
You held the baseball bat like you held the pole. Just like space the part.
You twirled around it?
we twirled around it.
Yeah, anyways, I got to wear like cute baseball outfits, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, but it went well. I think we're at like, I don't know, 10,000 views, or actually, no, we're on 100,000 views on the music video. We have like,
That's a big difference.
yeah,
Actually, I think it's more like a million. Maybe 6.
a billion. No, but it's been fun. It's on Spotify. Check it out. Yeah, it was just super fun creating our own song, and it was all just because we were like, wait, why do we have this Sum 41 song in here? It's awesome, but that's going to be really expensive, so we just made our own.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, you didn't have to license it. And I do remember though, while the song plays in your movie, and it came on, I was like, this is jam, and I didn't totally pick up. It took me a minute to figure out like, oh, it's an original song, because I was listening for it. I was like, oh, I wonder if I can look this up. This is pretty, because I love pop punk stuff, especially like we just hit 2025, and I've been like scouring for like, okay, what were the big pop punk songs that I missed? I downloaded like 10. I feel like it's a vibe, like it's a total like pop punk. I guess like it's partly nostalgic, but also I just really love the sound of it, and I'll never understand why it went so out of style. Like I don't care that it's not mainstream, because people are still making it and I enjoy it, but I do kind of get the weird look sometimes, like when I'm driving and like people are in the car and I start playing whatever and they're like, all right, John, can you like grow up actually, or what? I don't know. Might just be me.
It might just be you, because I feel like everyone I talk to loves pop punk.
Maybe it's an LA thing.
No,
In the
maybe
Bay
it's an
Area, everybody here is, they're all
It
about
may-
EDM here only.
all
I
about
feel
being
like in
cool.
high school, people were like you're listening to pop punk, you're not that cool. And then it kind of had a resurgence. And I feel like it's kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to offend anyone by saying this, but it's like anime, where it like wasn't cool in high school, people made fun of you. And then now it's like super cool.
I used to be so ashamed of liking anime. I would not tell people that I liked anime for like 5 years, and then it became cool. And like, oh, I can come out.
You came out as an anime fan.
Yeah.
No, you know what? It's funny because when I was in high school, when we were like, I was super into anime, and I didn't have to hide it. People knew what I was about. There's no getting around that. But I remember the first time I literally saw somebody who was like, guy who played basketball, semi-popular dude. You know, he wasn't, he wasn't homecoming king, but like he just straight up was reading the Naruto manga in the middle of class. And I was like, wait a second, like there is a social contract. And right now, like I'm seeing it's like an aberration. It's like that movie Annihilation, where all of a sudden I've walked through the thing and I'm like, what is this?
I just watched Annihilation last night. It's like one of my favorite movies of all time.
I know.
That
That's why I brought it up.
sound design at the end in that final scene, just crazy.
Yeah, especially the sound design of it, right, Harrison?
Yes, that's what I said.
Yeah, what are you getting at there?
I was like, wait, is there a joke there?
Well,
No, I just wasn't listening.
the joke for me is I did not know you watched that. That's actually a weird coincidence, but okay.
No.
So y'all's movie, I do kind of want to. I had a few other, because we had an awards watch interview about the movie, so I've asked you some questions before about it, and obviously that was a lot of fun. We were actually in person, so that was really cool for sure. But I had some questions. These are ones that hopefully will get to the soul of the movie, but these are tough questions. Like I don't want to make you think this is all chill and casual. But starting with you, Harrison, let's say you're stranded on a desert island, not a deserted island, but a desert island. So it's like an island, it's all desert. And, it's you and your character from the movie, right? Ryan, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What is the first thing that you would argue about? How would you survive together?
Ooh. I feel like I would immediately game plan and try to figure out how we can get sustenance to survive as long as possible, and immediately look for ways to hunt and gather, because I'd be the practical one. Yeah.
That's how I thought you would answer. Now we're going to switch it. So it's your character and Ivan's character.
Okay,
How does that change?
How does it?
Ivan has to answer this time.
So it's me and my character. Got it.
No, it's you and Harrison's character. See, this is why I did this, because it'd be confusing. So it's Ryan and Daniel.
Got it. Well, if it's Ryan and Daniel, I just follow whatever Ryan is doing, because Ryan is the practical one and Daniel is the one that follows orders, because I am so subservient to Ryan.
Wait a second. But the point of the movie is that you're not, because at some point you're not going to do what he says.
Yes, but the thing is, we just started. We just got to the island. So I will be subservient for a little bit. And then for a day. And then once I get to like this breaking point, I'd be like, hey, dude, like, listen to me. Like, come on. And then Ryan is going to ignore that because that's what Harrison does in real life. He's like, oh, well, let me do this first. Oh, come on, trust me. He'll say like, whatever you want or up to you. So you know that. So I think Daniel would be extremely annoyed at Ryan because he keeps saying these passive-aggressive things that Ryan knows that Daniel does not like.
Yeah, and this is just our characters, totally.
Yeah, just the characters.
Just the characters, of course.
Just the characters. Yeah, yeah. You do you. Oh, yeah. My God, I hate when Ryan says that.
I know, because Harrison, I would never. Really, it's Ryan who would be like, well, Danny, you're not making any sense. All you want to do is have fun and get stoned, even though there's no weed on this island. Stop looking for ways to get high.
You don't know if there's no weed in this island. The reason why it says it's a desert. It's a desert. Yes, but like you didn't say it's deserted. You say it was desert. That means there's a population. Yes, I have I have a higher, what's that thing called when you go like a little like up the stairs? Higher elevation of thinking. I thought about that. They might be populated. So like maybe I don't need to do anything because it's probably like Las Vegas. I'll just go to the store, go to the 7-Eleven and pick up a water bottle.
I'm not gonna lie, that's strategically sound.
Yes, it's all about the wording of things, Jon Negroni. Jon Negroni, it's all about the wording of things, and I got you.
Complicate it further then. Now I'm on the island.
Okay. Then I will say, Jon, can you go to 7-Eleven and get us some food? Did you bring your wallet? Now what?
I probably lost it if we're on a desert island. This question, actually, I wanted to ask you this question the last time we talked, but we didn't get to it. Let's say, because this is a meta movie, so this is a meta question. If I'm talking about you guys, not your characters, if you made a documentary about the making of this movie, what would the title be and why?
Ivan and Harrison makes a movie? Like Zachary and Miri makes a porno?
That's pretty good, actually. I like that one.
That's good.
Thanks.
I feel like
the idea guy.
Harrison gave it that's good. We can keep going. We'll write that down. We'll put it on the fridge.
We can workshop it a little bit.
Okay, I actually have another pitch. Maybe starving for validation would be a really good one.
That one's heavy.
Yes.
I mean, that gets the emotions in me kind of rising up a bit.
It's all about real life, man. It's all about real life.
I mean,
Harrison, you're the marketing guy, though. This is like your thing.
I think it would be the making of a movie, of the making of a movie, of the making of a movie.
I can see it on the ticket stub right now. You know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's have a real talk. Which one was better? Come on.
So far at least, I'm gonna have to give it to Ivan. I think he's throwing out a couple bangers over here.
I know.
I gotta be fair.
I know. See, the thing is, like, Ryan just isn't an on the spot type of guy. Sleep on it until 2 a.m., have really deep shower thoughts type of guy, and then come out with something really brilliant the next morning.
Ryan would like set an alarm, wake up, and then bucket of water prepared next to his bed, throw it into his face to wake himself up and be like, this is the idea.
Yeah.
Nice. By the way, I love your backdrop, the Happy Gilmore, the Forrest Gump, like the whole, I feel like this is like a Chris Stuckman kind of thing going on behind you.
It's like Letterboxd top 4, but not really.
Actually, yeah. Are these movies that you worked on, or they're just like movies you love?
So the top 4 movies are my wife's 4 favorite movies.
Oh, I see what you're saying then. Okay.
Life is Beautiful, Napoleon Dynamite, Truman Show, and Forrest Gump. And these were the 4 movies that currently I'm thinking about. Happy Gilmore is my most rewatchable movie. Inception, because Inception's awesome. Planet of the Apes, because it's the first movie I watched in my home theater, and I think it's the best 3-act structure of any blockbuster ever.
Yeah,
and Room, because I cry like every time. I cried like 4 times watching this movie.
I downloaded the soundtrack after because it just, I don't know what. Ivan, which of the 4, if you had to do a movie marathon, which would you do?
Which of the 4 out of those 8? It'd be Napoleon Dynamite, Room, Happy Gilmore, and Forrest Gump.
What if you had to pick between the groups? So it's like you could only do the top 4 or the middle 4? One or the other.
Top 4 or the middle? Oh, yeah, because that's in the middle. I'd probably pick I think the top one, just because. Yeah.
That's what I would pick too. I just didn't want to be the only one to say it.
That's okay.
Also,
Yeah.
because I really want to rewatch Life is Beautiful.
Well, to be honest, my favorite movie, because I don't know if you know this, John, I have a movie list of every single movie I've ever watched ranked in order. Before Letterboxd was a thing, it's an Excel
I
spreadsheet.
think you mentioned
Nerd.
this. Yeah.
And my number one movie is actually Million Dollar Baby, but I didn't want to put it on there because people always judge me because I need to provide context into why. It's because at the time that I watched it, I think I was 12. It was the first time I cried in a movie and felt emotions in a movie and made me really want to become a filmmaker. But everyone's like, if you watch it again, you might not like it as much as you liked it back then. And I haven't watched it since, and I'm scared to watch it again.
You need to find your truth.
That's
and,
the
and
issue.
cherish it.
That's the
I
issue
feel
with
like I'm learning
Harrison.
so much about you, Harrison. I'm learning so much about how you value movies in terms of the personal experiences you ascribe to them. That's something that I do, and sometimes I don't always feel like that is normalized, I guess, or that people will readily say that, but like it's such a true thing. My favorite movie is The Mask of Zorro, and usually people are kind of like, okay, like, and my favorite dinner is popcorn. Like, what do you mean? Like that? Why Mask of Zorro? And I'm like, it's personal. Like this movie, I loved it as a kid, and it got me to love swashbuckling adventure movies. What do you want?
Yeah.
And sometimes people will answer that question the same way and be like, oh yeah, it's this movie I watched when I was in high school that really stuck with me for whatever reason. Daredevil, somebody might even say.
Yeah.
And not me. You've been notoriously inconspicuously quiet because I wonder what your favorite movie then is and whether or not it's going to be something really surprising.
Okay, well, the thing is, aside from with the two of you guys, I have no shame or judgment of what my real Letterboxd top 4 is. I am authentically myself, and my authentic self is I did not give it a lot of thought, but like I really love Legally Blonde, and let me tell you why.
10 out of 10 choice just to start out.
Thank you. I know it's very unexpected because I am such a manly guy, but the thing is, I love a good hero's journey, and every time I get down on myself working with Harrison or just the entertainment industry in general, I think, whoa, this girl went to UCLA doing a fashion degree, but she got broken up with, and she decides to go to Harvard. That is for law, and that's crazy because everyone thought, oh, you're too dumb. You can't get into Harvard. She proved them wrong. She got into Harvard. And when she even proved herself that she went to Harvard, all the law students, those brown-haired law students, they were like, you're nothing. And then she becomes top of the class. She wins like a federal court thing, and she goes to the White House. It's mind-blowing.
Well, now we're getting into the sequel.
But you see, and because it was such a good movie, it was one of the sequels that actually held up.
I'll say this then, because I've never thought of it within the context of the hero's journey, but that's actually that makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Although one thing it does that subverts the hero's journey, which I do think is a big factor to why it's such a satisfying movie holds up. She's not that reluctant of a hero, because in the hero's journey, usually you have like, I can't go blow up the Death Star. I've got these power converters I gotta do, and then something has to happen. For her, she's just straight up, she gets broken up with, like you said. She's not reluctant. She's like, I'm gonna get what's mine. Mm-hmm. And there's something kind of, like the hero's journey can go suck it kind of mentality that I love.
Suck it, hero's journey. But they did have like a couple scenes when she's in bed throwing chocolate on the TV. So she did go through that. And also there was she processed, and there was like months, like there was like a month long, like a couple month montage of her studying, trying really hard. And there was another place where like she went to this Halloween party and she was dressed up as a bunny, but like everyone else wasn't. So she got really, really just like humiliated, and that didn't even stop her.
No, she even had that moment in the. We're doing a plot synopsis at this point, aren't we? Okay, we can't keep spoiling it. Not everybody has seen Legally Blonde, unfortunately. Okay, so Harrison, I have to ask you this.
Yes.
Because I still want to investigate and be in the head of your character. I really want to understand Ryan/Harrison/ the other character's name. What is one piece of life advice that you think your character would give, and how good or bad would it actually be?
Ooh, I feel like Ryan's advice would be to do things with marketing in mind. What is the press story that comes out of doing something? And I would say that is bad advice because it leads to you not living your most authentic life because you're constantly thinking about what will other people think of the thing that I've accomplished and not how will it make me feel.
How do you know when that's good and when that's bad? Because on the other hand, you do want to be like, you do want to think of like, how are people going to receive this? Is the thing that this is doing, and you could relate it to your movie too. You want to be original, and you want to make the movie that you want to make, but you also want to make it in a way that is accessible enough so that people understand what you're trying to say and why. So like, how do you actually find that line? Because that's a really tough line sometimes.
It is. I feel like it's hard because on one hand, right, you want it to be accessible to a lot of people, and what good is the thing that you make if no one sees it? But on the other hand, you also want to portray it in a way that is what you set out for it to be. Like, for example, in our trailer and in our materials, I think we pitch it as a stoner comedy. And I think that's a very easy way in for a lot of people. It's like, okay, I know what that is, but we subvert it where it's not really a stoner comedy, how you would normally consider a stoner comedy
It's
to
an
be.
Asian stoner comedy. Big difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. And the only other one is Harold and Kumar, which, that in itself, it's just such a different movie than ours. But I don't even remember where I was going with this. Ivan, do you want to take
This
over?
is a stoner comedy.
I mean, like, something that was really important to me to portray for everyone that was watching it is I wanted to see how the character is not 100% like me, but like I really wanted to try to portray like my real personality as much as possible into this character because we don't have that opportunity a lot. When we are auditioning for roles, we usually get the hacker, the information pusher, the nerd, and then like it went all the way to nice jawline, nice pecs, nice abs, beautiful face. And like for our type, everything in the middle, it's basically just like walk on roles, and you don't really get to really show off what you can do for the last 10 years. And I've been told a lot of times that my personality is just a little bit off. No, that's a negative word. A little bit unique. And I just wanted the world to see something that they haven't experienced yet, and I feel like I did.
I like that a lot just because I feel like with this movie and having that opportunity, being yourself and everything, but then also I do like knowing you a little bit as much as I do, and then knowing your on-screen persona, there are some key differences, obviously. And was that a conscious thing though, where you're like, I do want Daniel to kind of be more like this in the way that I'm not, versus having that opportunity to just let loose a little bit more? Like, how did you make those decisions?
I just wanted to show different shades of my personality and my character. So like whatever Daniel did go through or like was like in the movie, I feel like I do come off like that with other people sometimes, and that is the answer.
Well, I feel like that's a hard question that we get a lot, right? Is like, how much of it is based on yourselves? And on one hand, right, like no one can play you better than you. And we want to show our personality in a way that's hireable because this movie initially started as a calling card for us as actors. But then we also know that like it's not 100% of ourselves, and we're not just playing ourselves completely, because then it's like, I feel like you get that comment sometimes like, oh, you're just playing yourself. Like that must not be hard. Like that's not acting. And we really wanted to portray all different types of emotions that we normally wouldn't get to play if we're just guest starring on a TV show and, delivering your lines and then leaving. So that's why like in this movie, we have comedic moments and we have some serious moments as well. And I think a lot of people have resonated with some of those more serious moments in the film that catch people by surprise. Because yeah, we don't usually get to play all sides of that type of emotion.
I'm glad you phrased it that way, because that resonates for me in terms of when I've written sketch comedy and I've had to write like a version of me. It does have to take things that are kind of like my personality here and there, but obviously it's heightened in a very specific way. enough so that it's like people can listen or have watched it and been like, oh yeah, that's like the Jon Negroni persona, but it's not really me. And that can be really tricky sometimes, because then you run the risk of like over heightening or it being a little bit too close to real. And yeah, I definitely struggled with that before, just from the writing perspective. And so yeah, that's very fair, very astute. This is getting a little too heavy. I'm getting a little sad actually. So I want to ask a more chill. This is more of a question just in general, actually, because I've always wanted to do karaoke with you guys my whole life. And I want to get a sense of what it would be like. So let's say we're at karaoke night. It's us. It's my wife's there too, and it's the whole cast and crew of the movie. Actually, it's the whole gang. So what's the first song? What's the go-to?
For me personally, it's gonna be Basket Case by Green Day, or Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day, or Go the Distance by
Hercules, not Michael Bolton, but or I think it was Michael Bolton. Wow. But Hercules, so specifically, you have to do the voice of Teen Hercules in a karaoke song. Yes.
It's very, very emotional, and it also feels like if I can go the distance, you can too.
I've done that song karaoke. It actually low-key it gets everybody going. No, that's good. That's good. That's a really good start. Green Day is going to be performing at Bottle Rock, so I'm assuming you guys are going to be there.
I'm down if Harris is down.
All the way in Napa.
Oh.
So
Napa.
There you go. Sublime is going to be playing too. Just saying. But what about you, Harrison? I know you love to sing. You have a few albums out. I'm just saying that because you're dressed. You've got the hoodie.
I feel like I'm about to spit some bars right now. My go-to karaoke song that they never have in Koreatown, but occasionally they'll have it, is "I'll Make a Man Out of You," and I feel like
I can't do that song. It makes me cry every single time.
It's just so good, and I feel like it's a really great ensemble number that everyone can get behind. You can create like a little army on stage, and you can have different people do all the different voices of all the different characters that come in, and
I'm never gonna catch my breath. Yeah.
Say goodbye to those who knew me.
There you go.
There you go.
Stop. Actually, I will actually cry. That is not a joke.
So sad.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Specifically, your cast and crew, though, I get the sense that it was pretty tight-knit. Do you feel like you're doing karaoke with them? It sounds like you're on the Disney lane, but is there anything that's like recent? Like we're talking the last year? Because I'm actually asking for research purposes, because we do karaoke at our house. We have a whole karaoke setup. It's like every house party. Y'all are invited, of course, but we always we bop it out. And sometimes people bring on like the new stuff and it doesn't work because it's like, I don't know that. Sorry. Like, I don't know New Jeans for whatever reason. I do, but so.
Okay, so.
And I did play Chapel Rowan once and people were like, please not.
What?
No,
I know.
That was my answer.
I played Hot to Go. I was the only one. And I was just kind of like, this is it.
And no one wanted to do this?
I did the whole thing. I had been practicing the dance for.
And everyone was just staring at you quietly?
They weren't staring at me. They were trying their hardest to pretend it wasn't happening. This is a touchy memory, actually. I was pretty upset.
This is such a sad podcast. Everything just makes you want to.
This is what I expected, genuinely. But what else? I mean, you know what? People will do Sabrina Carpenter, but that one, I don't know. I feel like it's fine. People know the words, but it's not bringing the house down.
Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson?
What has she done?
She hasn't done that song in the last year.
Well, I mean, there was a big resurgence with Underneath the Christmas Tree. I watched karaoke like almost like every other day, and she always kills it.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know this at all.
Well, I'm glad I put you on the radar.
I'm just, I can't keep up with all the latest pop culture goss.
I feel like we have to give you a real good answer for this, and we can't leave until we do.
You can always message me after when it comes to you, when you're waking up at 2 a.m.
But isn't that the problem, that none of us can just easily come up with that song from the last year? Like that's an issue, right?
I answered the question.
Yeah, but like I don't think anyone was excited about it.
Well, somebody did play Golden Hour, and it was me and like I didn't play it, but like it was me and one other person. We knew it, but again, it was only 2 people out of like 15. So it's like, all right, well, that one's a little bit too niche. Oh, people play the Apato song.
Yeah, but it's not really like a karaoke. Like everyone gets up and like.
It's a little sloppy. Maybe in a few months, people are gonna like get it or like
Yeah.
sing it in a way that's like, and
Actually,
you know,
you know what would be a really good one? It's kind of cheating because it's not really this year, but it is this year. But you could do like Defying Gravity or something.
somebody did do Defying Gravity and
Failed.
that one actually kind of worked because most people didn't know the words or were comfortable enough to sing it, but the one person who did, she kind of like she nailed it. Like she was like hitting the notes. She was Idina Menzelling it, and I was just kind of watching at a certain point. I was like, this is pretty good. That's actually yeah.
That's insane.
I was impressed. I was like, that's a tough song to sing. Sweet. We got the karaoke question out of the way. That was the most important one. That was the climax of the conversation. Okay, so this is a fun one because this could relate a little bit to maybe Truman Show actually. If you could pick any fictional character or a real celebrity from another movie, TV show, whatever it is, to make a cameo in your movie, similar to Hudson Yang from Fresh Off the Boat, who would you want to have been in and how would they have fit in?
I want
Don't
Jason.
say me. I know it's on your mind, but
I know you're in the sequel, of course. I would say Jason Mendoza and Pillboy from A Good Place, The Good Place.
that would be pretty good.
I feel like they'd match our energy pretty well, and it would be like, how can we be dumb and dumber and dumberer and dumberer? It would be
What's
really.
that actor's name? The actor too, or just the character? So, because I think the actor is Manny
Manny
Jacinto.
Yeah,
Something like that?
he's
Yeah.
fantastic actor, but the character specifically is so fun and stupid, like the most lovable stupid character I've ever seen on TV.
Just
And
talk about Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. What was it, Bo? Oh my god,
Yang?
no. The quarterback. Why am I blanking? He's like, Bo.
The
Bo
Anyway.
Rogers?
No,
Bo
the
Rogers?
quarterback at the time for the Jacksonville. That he keeps like,
Oh, I don't remember.
Who
yeah.
would know sports questions?
This is the wrong podcast. I don't know what to tell you.
But yeah, that would be my answer. I feel like it'd be really fun to have like the four Asian dudes that are all like slightly oblivious to what's going on and just like trying to make a movie together that just completely goes off the rails.
I could see him showing up like literally right after the YouTuber guy comes in as like the fourth person that somebody invited or that Ivan had called up. He's like, he actually answered the phone to come as a way of revenge against you. Hey, there you go.
Yes.
What about what came to mind for you, Ivan?
I think maybe like a Tom Holland or Timothée Chalamet, because selfishly, I want to meet them. And
I like the realness of that answer.
now I feel like box office wise, people would take a lot more notice as well. And I feel like they're good actors. Like, I think that they're
You
good
sound
enough.
like Ryan.
Who's Ryan? Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Oh, Ryan Reynolds would be another good one. I think that he would do a good job in our movie.
You could have Tom Holland come in and try to sell his new non-alcoholic beer, and that be part of the meta-ness, and then have Ryan Reynolds come in trying to sell his whiskey, aviation whiskey or whatever it is, and then just have them like competing with each other. And you kind of have like a whole subplot there. So
Yeah.
we'll workshop it, as Harrison would say.
Yeah.
I like that. I really like that.
There you go. There you go. I bring that up only because I do actually really want to try Tom Holland's beer. It kind of sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question that's maybe a tricky one to answer. We don't know what the future holds. Anything could happen. But let's say 50 years from now, how do you think this movie, somebody finds it and they start watching it, what's the thing that you would hope that this movie kind of marks for you as being a very 2024/2025 kind of moment in time that people would be like, oh man, that was a long time ago, 50 years ago?
I think that I would like them to see it as, and no, I'm not comparing myself, but like I like an Asian American Kevin Smith movie where like when you actually want to make something, but like everyone tells you not to because how daunting it is, how difficult it is, the amount of work, and that you can never do it because it's too expensive to actually just go out there and do it. And also like it's a nice time capsule of what I think Asian American entertainment is right now. So people can go back and see, oh, whoa, like we actually didn't have a lot of opportunities back then, but this is when like Asian American cinema and all that jazz is just basically starting, because it is basically starting. It's only been probably like 7-8 years since Crazy Rich Asians came out, and before that, with Fresh Off the Boat, like we didn't have anything. We usually, even for the series regular roles, we barely had any at all. We were one of the least represented like ethnic groups in entertainment.
I would love for 50 years from now people to watch this and be like, this movie's so outdated, it doesn't make any sense. In the sense that people are like, wait, why does a gay best friend have to come out to a straight best friend? Or like, why are Asian dudes talking about representation issues? And I hope we've like gotten to a point in the industry or in society 50 years from now where like none of that matters and people don't need to talk about that. And I'd also love for my grandkids to watch it one day and be like, wow, Harrison wasn't completely fat and balding and actually looked okay.
And he wasn't just Canadian.
Yeah.
Also, you know.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I like that we kind of moved it over to hopeful and idealistic for once. That was really well done there. It's so interesting because I grew up East Coast, and I remember when I moved to California 10 years ago, realizing how strange it is that the monoculture of like the Pacific West, in terms of like there are so many Asian Americans here from all over. It is such an intermingling, culturally crossover kind of situation over here compared to where I grew up, where everything culturally was like segregated, like in some ways not legally, but like people just were in their own kind of zones, versus out here it's like everybody's kind of together. And so it was always strange to me that like our movies and TV didn't reflect what was happening in California. It was more sort of like where I grew up, which didn't compute for me. I remember then Crazy Rich Asians coming out, and then that being such a big deal, Fresh Off the Boat coming out being a big deal, and then all the like the indie scene started exploding with like The Farewell and Shirkers, and these movies that are like, actually, yeah, like, people, we could actually see a little bit more representation even outside of the typical stuff that you would expect or see, things like, the martial arts movies that we grew up on and all that. So yeah, that's interesting, especially because in 50 years, like, who knows what our cultural makeup will even look like. It's probably going to be like, we can't even predict. So
Yeah.
there you go. That is one extremely unique dynamic. I had to make sure I said that at
I had
least
to
once.
throw it in there.
Yes.
Wow.
Even
And
if it
we
didn't
are
fit.
a bunch of cinemaholics. Sorry, I had to throw that in there too.
Yeah.
Cinemaholics will probably still keep going. Will and I signed a blood pact that our children would keep it going after we're done.
Wait,
Have
how
you-
about
have
I
you-
flip it on? Can I flip it on to you for a second?
I suppose
Okay.
I deserve that.
We haven't asked you a single question yet,
Always
Jon
overachieving.
Negroni. Yeah. So, how about you? In 50 years from now, how would you feel, or what would you want people to think when they watch this particular episode? And yeah, like how do you think they would feel in general?
How would they feel?
Yeah, or like what do you think they would like think 50 years from now in the state of movie going and entertainment in general? Like, will people look back at podcasts and think, wow, like that was a thing? Or like people talk about like people talking about movies being like, oh, like people talked about movies that way.
I would wonder if it's going to be similar to the way we look at the cultural movements of the 1960s, like periods of time in which something kind of takes off before it gets overly commercialized. I guess we're in that period already. We're like, podcasting is completely different from when I first started doing it in 2014. In 2014, it was bootstrap stuff. I had like these setups. I'd have to go to Guitar Center to get the right microphone. I had to do every aspect of the mixing myself. The mixers were super, like, they haven't changed that much technically, to be true, but we didn't have things like cloud amps. We didn't have these amazing, we didn't have Riverside FM or Zencaster or all this other stuff that you can use to just like, we can all record remotely. We can have our video. It was just completely bootstrap unless you were a big company and they weren't putting the resources into it. Now it's like everybody has one. It's all corporatized. They all have these huge sponsorships. So the more kind of indie podcasts, there aren't a ton of us anymore. Like, a lot of people are getting burnt out. I have a good buddy who he did his movie podcast for almost as long as me, and ultimately was just like, at this point, like, we're not growing anymore because there are so many huge, like, all the companies have bought up all the space, and so it's so much harder to break out. And I feel like as time goes on, other stuff's going to come out. It ebbs, it flows. We see the same thing with like cable and streaming and network TV, and that changes, and there'll be some new technology. There'll be something that's like we can't even fathom. And so like looking back on now, it would be like how we look upon the 4 radio stations that people listened to, you know, during World War II or whatever it was. We'll be like, wow, that's kitschy. That's neat, I guess. Maybe we'll have that version of like a record store where people are like picking up podcast cassette tapes. And this one has like, yeah, my name on it, interview with Ivan and Harrison. And it'll be the most popular, most sellable podcast cassette tape in all of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Let's do it. Let's go.
That's what'll happen.
That's what's gonna happen.
I was curious about this. You might just say no, like, no, this has never happened. Has anybody, have you had any like fan theories come about for your way with this one, with this movie, or any of that kind of stuff?
At one of our recent screenings at Vidiots, can I say this, Ivan?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so someone was very adamant in the question that really seemed more like a statement of like,
more of a comment, really.
Yeah, more of a comment. Like, how was it shooting a movie with someone you were actually in love with?
No
That's
comment.
Just drama. That's not.
No comment.
That's just tabloid stuff.
I don't know what anyone's talking about. Is this gonna be online?
I'm just gonna see like People magazine. It's gonna be like Ivan like walking down the street, just like what at the sunglasses. Bombshell. Cinemaholics podcast exposes.
Oh no!
That's the only fan theory I had. I mean, if that even is a fan theory, that you were actually secretly in love with me, or not so secretly in love with me.
Oh, this is way too vulnerable. I don't know how to respond right now. Next question.
That's how you answered it in the actual Q&A. I'm glad you brought the Q&A stuff, because Q&As always fascinate me. I always feel bad when I leave them early, but every bone in my body tells me to, because I never enjoy them as the person. I can't even imagine your position. I would hope that you do enjoy them, because I assume you get really interesting, unique questions sometimes. But other times I'm sitting there and I'm just, the empathy is off the charts, where I'm just like, I would lose it. I've seen people. I saw once Bo Burnham during the Q&A for 8th grade. I mean, I just saw something, and like something kind of just snapped, where he was like, I don't know how to respond to this. I just want to go home. And I told him psychically that he could. And fortunately, the Q&A ended there. But I don't know. I don't know if this is a common experience or if I'm just overthinking it.
Did you watch our Q&A?
Good question. Yes.
Enjoy Q&As. Yeah, I enjoy Q&As. It's always really fun. If I don't answer the question, I know I have someone to help me. Harrison.
Well, Ivan gives the fun answer. I give the real answer. No, but we bounce off each other well. And I do think having another person up there doing Q&A with makes it way easier. And I'm just, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ivan, but Ivan had to do one Q&A without me for a film festival, and it was not as enjoyable.
No, I'll correct you. No, I had a great time. It's just that like I bounced off the other people that was playing the thing too. So it really worked out. But I mean, like, I have a small insecurity because Harrison is just so eloquent with his words, and I'm very just like simple, and I just say it, and I just don't feel as smart sometimes, even though that I think that I'm very smart. But that's my thought. I don't know what anyone else thinks. So I just hope that Harrison can make up for my lackings, and I hope that Harrison keeps inviting me so people can have fun in the audience.
But I don't think there's any lackings. I think there's complimenting.
Aw, yeah, Harrison's amazing.
Both directions, though.
Aw, I'm amazing too. Thank you.
So you know what? I will say, because I was crapping on Q&As a bit. I do enjoy when Q&As have, or at least start with, a person kind of guiding it who is good at that stuff, like just genuinely like they've done it before, they're a bit more experienced, and they can kind of break the ice with it, get the, I don't like it when it just starts right off the bat with the audience, because usually the audience is like, I want to talk just to talk. But if you kind of start it off as somebody who's really thoughtful and mindful, it seems to work better. But that's a very niche thing that a lot of people listening are like, I'm never going to experience this or go to one of these, so why are you talking about it? And
Yeah, the shittiest thing about a Q&A is if the audience has no questions. It's like the most awkward thing, just standing up on stage just being quiet.
What was it like making this movie? How did you come up with the idea for this movie? And I could argue, as I said that, Harrison, like I saw your brain just quickly trigger to that answer of like, I know exactly what to say.
No, that was me being, wait, can I be lame for 30 seconds and grab my charger? I don't want my computer to die.
It's
I'll
a
be-
very similar thing.
I'll be
I
right.
only had one more question.
Oh, okay. Well,
but
yes, go for it.
we can end it there so you don't have to worry about it.
No, I need to know.
No, I need to know. Give me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back. You two talk without me.
You know how to
Okay.
you know how to edit, right,
That's
John?
fine. Well, and you know what, Ivan and I, we talk all the time without Harrison, and that's what's to change that now, right?
Exactly.
My question. Oh, sorry, what?
No, why change that now? Like me and you, we have a special bond,
I would
and
say so.
I would love to know, by your opinion, like what you think of our bond.
Of our bond,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty close to breaking. It needs to be maintained and cultivated before it's shattered forever. I've got my eye on that.
I love that.
It's one I cherish. All right, well, with all the fun and comedic stuff out of the way, Harrison's back.
Finally.
I am back. Sorry, that was so unprofessional. Wow.
For
Ivan, how could
Cinemaholics,
you?
I think it was just in line with what we're going for.
Mm-hmm.
But I did only have one question left to go, and it could be a little bit trickier because you'll have to think on the spot. But I want to challenge you guys. I think you're up to it. Hottest pop culture take. You know it's controversial, but you stand by it. And this is just something I like to ask because sometimes people are a little bit afraid. Sometimes they're like, I don't want to put the hot pop culture take out there because then people are either going to say that's not a hot take, that's a cool take, or they're going to say, you know, something mean.
Lion King 2 is better than Lion King 1.
All right, you got to justify it.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is just incredible. Just We Are One is one of my favorite songs. It was also the song that I walked down the aisle to.
Okay.
So
there
yes,
it is.
there it is.
Boxer briefs with those lining for your balls.
I actually I half agree with this. It's situational, and it's a very guy thing. I'm sorry to the listeners that this does not resonate with, especially including men who are just like I would never even bother. But for me, for running, yes, agreed.
You run?
I'm still hurting over the Lion King thing, but that's okay. Mine is that reality TV deserves more respect. Now,
Yes.
that is different. That is different from the ones that are exploitative, where the cast is like, they aren't, you know, being compensated fairly, that stuff. So removed from that, though, reality TV actually, I think, can be extremely insightful. And to me, some of it can be very rewarding trash TV.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I feel like I learn a lot from reality TV because, like, okay, so even if it is quote unquote scripted, it's not actually scripted. You have to see how you can actually see the way that someone processes something, and like if they have to hide what they actually think or like how they actually naturally act. I think it's really interesting to watch reality TV. There's a show called Terrace House. It's like National Geographics for humans, and they're just all in a house and they just go on about their lives, and you see like they're having a bad relationship now because someone didn't wash the dishes or this and this and this, and if you just talk to them, like it could have helped, but like you see, oh, this person is a little bit more avoidant. It's such a cool, these shows are just so cool because like you can really watch like human behavior, and it's not like, and it feels natural, and I really enjoy that.
Because people are like, oh, well, it's not. It's just people trying to become famous. I'm like, yeah. How is that different from reality? I'm surrounded by that 24/7. Excuse me, but maybe it's because like California, that's the vibe anyway, especially LA. But it's like, yeah, everybody's trying to be someone they're not. Like that's so real. I don't know.
Yeah.
Harrison's been a little quiet. I think he's ready to lay the gauntlet down.
Well, no, like when you say reality, right? Reality spans so many subgenres of reality. Like Amazing Race, incredible. I've tried to apply for the show for like 6 years in a row and I can't get on. And that seems like the most fun thing to be a part of. And it's cool to see people overcoming adversity, problem solving, and working together towards a common goal. I think that's really admirable.
Now I have two things that make me cry.
Aww.
Make a man out of you, and Harrison talking about The Amazing Race.
Yeah.
There we go. Perfect way to end it. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out, answering my questions, even the weird ones. And I'm just wishing you guys the best with the rest of the rollout. I hope that as you continue to keep watching this movie over and over again at all these screenings, I just hope it's more and more rewarding, especially because you get to watch other people enjoy it for the first time.
Yeah, and I'm so honored. We are so honored to talk to the Jon Negroni of Cinemaholics. My throat closed.
You must have me confused with a more successful version of myself, but thank you all the same. I really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to talk again when you do your second, third, fourth, and fifth movies together. I assume that that's already a foregone conclusion. The sequel, the documentary, we talked about all that stuff. I know you haven't technically confirmed it and might deny it, but in my heart, that's what I expect to happen.
We can talk about this at an Millennium concert again.
Yeah, that's the ticket, isn't it? I just have to schedule that, and then that's how I know that a sequel's coming.
Yes. And all of this footage that we're recording now will be part of that sequel of the making of the movie that we just made.
Where is the next screening that people maybe listening, if they happen to be in the area, could check it out, check the movie out?
Well, we will be screening at USC at the Norris Theater with Leonard Maltin moderating, which will be super exciting.
Oh my God. Leonard Maltin?
The Leonard Maltin.
I
Yes.
haven't been this jealous in a minute.
Well,
should
if you
come
want to
down.
fly down to LA and watch it.
Yeah,
For Leonard Maltin, I mean, that's tempting.
you can.
So we're doing that. We're playing in San Francisco at the 4-Star Theater on January 29th. We're playing in New York at the Quad Cinemas January 27th, and then we'll be on VOD. So yeah, all exciting stuff.
This is how you know Harrison, he's got it on lock. He's got the dates, he's got the theater names, no hesitation. Yeah, you just John Wicked all of that. It's perfect.
Or if you're in Vancouver and you want to go to my high school, we are playing in the theater.
You overshare, Harrison. You just overshare.
We don't want to get called by the Mounties or whatever they're called.
Yeah, the Canadian Mounties are gonna ride in on their moose.
But yes, thanks again, guys. Good luck on the rest of the rollout. Hope everything goes well, and hope we can talk again soon. But thank you, listeners, for listening. The Cinemaholics will be back soon, of course. We got other stuff coming out for the show. It is, of course, January, which means we have Sundance, lots of Sundance content coming up. So make sure you're subscribed to Cinemaholics so you can get all new episodes on your feed, of course. So with that said, take care. And thanks so much again, guys. Hope to see you around again soon.
Thanks, Jon.